expressed on WLAF TV 12 do not necessarily reflect those of the staff, management, ownership, or advertisers of WLAF TV 12, 1450 WLAF Radio, FM 100.9, or 1450WLAF.com.
Stop by Heights Finance Corporation today and see Sandy List for all your financial needs. We're located in the Carl Pierce Furniture Building at 220 East Central Avenue in LaFollette, Tennessee. We offer loans from $500 to $100,000. Former bankruptcies are welcome, so give them a call. Call 563-6797. That's 563-6797. Or stop by their office 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Mule Pro FXT can't handle. The 2015 Mule Pro FXT. The Mule Pro FXT is engineered to smooth out the most rugged terrain. Over 8.5 inches of suspension travel make uneven surfaces feel a lot less jarring, while a tight 16-foot turning radius combined with electric power steering means easy and effortless cornering on a dime. Engine braking is tuned for a controlled feel when heading downhill, and high-output LED headlights light up the way. Round out this exceptional package with the maximum stopping power of front and rear disc brakes, and there's almost nothing the Mule Pro FXT can't handle. The 2015 Mule Pro FXT.
Hi, I'm Ann Love with Linda Kilgore State Farm Agency. I have worked in the insurance and financial services industry for over 20 years, formerly with the John R.W. Brown Agency. I'm a native Campbell County and enjoy helping people with their insurance needs. Stop by and see me for all your insurance needs.
Riggs Drugs has been a part of Campbell County for generation after generation, serving our friends and neighbors. And now we have redesigned our store to better serve you. It's the same knowledgeable and friendly staff, but a new look and new technology to ensure you get your prescriptions fast. We've always got you covered from prescriptions to all your home health needs. We've always been more than a pharmacy, still offering a huge selection of gifts and decor. Here at the new and improved Riggs Drugs.
Are you missing out on extra Medicare benefits that you may be entitled to? Hi, my name is Blake McCoy with Independent Insurance Consultants. If you have Medicare A and B and have Medicaid, TennCare, QMB, or receive extra help on your prescription, drug premium, and copays, I want to make sure that you are receiving all the extra benefits that you are entitled to. Call me toll-free today, 1-866-691-5571, and let me help you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Campbell County Issues. Hey, I know a lot of you out there knows this man, and he's been on my program a couple times before now. It's about 3-4 years ago he came on, but he was on 2 weeks ago, and I know that I've had 1,000 calls saying, well, what do I need here? What do I need there? And I know they've had a bunch too. And so anyway, I'm glad Mark come back up, and I'm going to let him take over the show tonight and try to answer every one of your insurance problems. And I'm going to ask him some of my own where people call me and ask different questions. So for the next 30 minutes to an hour, we'll see if we can answer them, and if we don't get them answered, we'll just keep going. So anyway, you can give us a call on any of those. But first, Mark, let me go ahead and tell you what's been going on with us as far as the number of calls.
Okay.
there's been a number of calls of asking what's going to happen with TennCare, or what's happening with Haslam's program, or what's going on now with Obamacare. There's so many of them just confused, they don't know which way to turn.
It's not hard to be confused right now because there are so many things going on with insurance plans. Folks that have TennCare, a lot of them have been going through changes. The state of Tennessee is moving people from one company to another company. A lot of people have been getting letters saying that they've been moved from United Healthcare or Blue Cross Blue Shield over a company named Amerigroup, or back and forth, and that's caused some confusion. We've had a lot of call-ins about what's going on with that. We've also had a lot of folks who are real interested in this new program that Insure Tennessee, I believe it's called, is happening, and I don't even know if they've even got that passed through yet, that's going to happen. That's going to affect a lot of folks as far as eligibility to get medical benefits through the state of Tennessee's programs. We're hoping that opens it up so that more people have access, but as far as my understanding is right now, they've still got that. They haven't actually passed that in full yet, so we're kind of waiting to see how that comes through at the state level. And then a lot of folks have been affected by other changes, even with prescription drug companies. If they've got a prescription card the state of Tennessee is sponsoring, they've been moving people around a couple different companies there. What the state of Tennessee is trying to do, I think, is kind of balance the load between the insurance companies a little bit. The state of Tennessee doesn't normally pay claims for people. They engage insurance companies to kind of manage all that for them, and so the companies that are involved, they just kind of shuffle things around and try to balance out the load between all the different companies. So,
well, now, if I'm paying a premium for my insurance, shouldn't the people that I'm getting insurance from at least notify me what doctors, or if it's, because I was in this one group, say, and I'm not talking about me, but I'm using,
right.
Say I'm in this group, and this doctor takes my insurance, but I get moved over to another insurance, and I go to the doctor, and they won't see me.
Well, you got a couple of different situations here. Folks that are under one of the state plans that the state pays the premium on, unless they've made a choice about what they want, the state will kind of move them around to the insurance company to balance their load. Not always does a person have to change doctors, but the state doesn't necessarily notify people either that they have to change doctors, so sometimes that catches people a little bit off guard. In all cases, insurance companies sign contracts with doctors groups, so that's always a relationship between the insurance company and the doctor. Doctor can choose to participate or not participate. Insurance company can choose. They make their choices. Typically, those don't change a whole lot, so we don't have a lot of times during the year where doctors say all of a sudden they're not going to take something. Usually those contracts are long-standing, so we don't have a lot of interruption there. However, anytime you change an insurance plan, you need to make sure that your doctor, if you want to keep seeing that doctor, accepts that plan. So if it's an action that you're taking on your own, you should work with an agency that is knowledgeable enough to do the research for you and make sure that those doctors that you're currently seeing will actually, be available to you under a new plan. So that's something your agent should work with you on. Whoever you're working with as your insurance agent should be able to answer questions and help you find things.
So
like that
if let's just say, okay, I got Quality Health, and do you have a list of doctors that would see me or my wife in all categories? And it would say, okay, I don't know what I can't say it.
What kind of a doctor?
Cardiologist or whatever.
Yes, your insurance agent that you're working with will have a list of providers available. So as you're looking at a plan, they will be able to help you decide which plans work for which doctors. If you're already on a plan and you want to know which doctors are available to you, you can contact that plan. Most people have a customer service number on the back of their plan's ID card. Okay, so on the back of your ID card, and then you can request them to send you a list of all the providers, or if you want to call and ask them specifically about providers that are close to your zip code, they'll be able to provide that to you over the phone. But if you're working with an agent, you're considering making a plan change, or you want to know something about your plan, your agent should always be well informed of which doctor networks take which
But
plans.
now, this Dr. Campbell in Knoxville, I don't know, is down on Middlebrook Pike, I think. Anyway, my wife had been going to him for what we used to call them borders in the neck or something other. It's not what it is. It's something that's looking like it's cancer, you know.
Okay.
And she'd been going to him for 4 or 5 years, and he'd checked that thing out. And so anyway, they called and made an appointment with us, telling her it's time for her to come back in, and then when we go in and have the insurance card, we don't take your insurance no more. Anyway, they sent us to a lady in Oak Ridge,
Okay. Okay.
which took the insurance, and then she doctored my wife for about a year. And then we go they had sent us a letter saying it's time for her to have this checkup. So we go down there and we hand them the same insurance that they have, and they wouldn't take it.
This can happen. There again, a doctor's participation within an insurance company, it's always their choice. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So if they want to have an insurance company to work with, that's a choice that they can make. In this area, I have usually seen that the doctor will send out a letter to their patients with a particular type of insurance, notifying them of a change that, they're either going to not take it anymore or that it's going to be modified in some way. That isn't something that the insurance companies typically send a letter out, but the doctors groups themselves.
Okay.
Okay, so especially during the open enrollment period when a lot of people are changing their Medicare plans, that's when we see doctors notifying people, hey, we're not going to take this anymore after the first of the year. These are the plans we take. If you want to keep coming here, then we recommend that you take one of these plans. And that notification is generally on the part of the doctor as far as...
So it's something that you need to be aware of or even ask a question.
Right, and that's one of the reasons the doctors always ask for your ID card when you go into the appointment. They're going to make sure that you're still on a plan that they take, or if you've made a change to your plan, that's something that's still that they're part of a network. So that the primary responsibility for that notification generally rests with your doctor. If your doctor's not going to take a plan, he's been seeing you for a number of years, he knows what insurance you have, obviously, because you've been going there for a while, and we usually see that notification coming in written form, some sort of communication from the doctor's office itself.
Now, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a couple, even here, I had a couple of calls that asked me about the changes and stuff like that. I couldn't answer, but I did, evidently, I gave them enough information, they was able to get the problem solved.
Get through it, okay. Good.
So,
well, that's one of the best things that we can do when we're here is to try to get information, or at least be a point of contact to get good information to people. Because like you said, when you open the show up, there are a lot of very complicated things going on right now, and if there are changes that are happening and you've got questions about that, our agency's always been open and available to the folks here in Campbell County as far as a resource goes. We try to stay up to date on which plans work with which doctors.
well, I keep giving out that number.
What's that number again?
It's
It's 866
691-5571.
Yes, sir. It's still that same number.
But now, if you got any questions out there, folks, give Mark a call, because he'd be happy to try to answer them for you. Now, I know that there's a lot of people that still they're confused about Obamacare and I guess Governor Haslam's program that is Governor Haslam's program been implemented yet?
It has not, to my knowledge. The last I saw on the news is they were meeting in the state legislatures, still about that. Looks like it's going to go through, but the absolute impact, like where we care about is right here in Campbell County. How's that going to affect here? How's that going to be available for people? How are they going to sign up for that? A lot of that information is gathered through the online applications for Obamacare, but a lot of that will actually come through probably from your local Department of Human Services and state level.
So basically, though, this is just the state thing. Is this an extension of Obamacare, or?
Actually, it's not necessarily. My best understanding of Obamacare is it's a insurance system that's in place that can involve the state at the Medicaid level, which is usually the level that the state provides health services as well. When you apply for Obamacare, they automatically guide you through applying for the subsidy. Okay, so the healthcare.gov website actually guides you through applying for the subsidies that we're talking about with Governor Haslam's initiative here. So that is a great place to at least get started. I know a lot of folks don't have internet access. There are some different ads I've seen for organizations. Healthmarkets.com has an ad on TV. Those types of organizations can give you assistance in getting through that system. But probably the best way for most people to access the subsidies and find out if they're eligible for some of these benefits is to actually go through and fill out the Obamacare the application online.
And now, the difference between Medicare and TennCare, how would you, TennCare, you could have TennCare and be 18 years old, but you can't have Medicare and be 18 years old.
That's not all the way that works. Let me just kind of give an overview on this, okay? A moment ago we were talking about Obamacare. Obamacare is primarily for folks that are not insured and probably still working. Okay, it's for people who don't qualify for the TennCare and aren't yet qualified for Medicare. So that's for the masses of folks that are kind of in between. Okay, they may be waiting for determination on their Medicare status, and they need some insurance in the meantime. That's the Obamacare fills that area of need right there. Medicare is a program that people qualify for by virtue of either working or being the dependent of someone who did work. Okay, usually the requirement is that you work 10 years and paid into the system to qualify for Medicare Part A. Most people qualify for that when they turn 65. There are other different situations where someone may qualify for Medicare through disability or through a handicap. Okay, they may become injured or they may have been handicapped at a young age, and that determination really varies. I have had clients that are, I have a client that has cystic fibrosis and is 21 and has full Medicare, and she is drawing off of her father's side of it. So there's not an across the board generality of who gets it and who doesn't. It's an individual need basis. Medicare is a federally funded, and that is actually governed by the Center for Medicaid Services. Okay? The difference between Medicare and TennCare is that TennCare is the state level. And we've got a caller. I'll pick this right back up again. I want to make sure we get to the
You're on the air.
Is school time tomorrow?
Is there any school tomorrow? I think it's 2 hours late.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. Now,
So TennCare is the state Medicaid program that is funded jointly by money that comes from the federal government and from the state. TennCare is available mostly based on income. A lot of times it may be based on hardship due to illness or hardship due to circumstances. So there's several different ways that a person qualifies for that. TennCare can be awarded separately from Medicare. Okay, so there are folks that are maybe under age 65, they haven't received disability yet and aren't eligible for Medicare, but their circumstances warrant that the state of Tennessee is paying for their health care and their prescription coverage. at a point where someone on TennCare becomes eligible either through disability or hardship or through turning age 65, they become eligible and they receive Medicare. Those people are called dual eligible. They have the full benefit of the Medicare and they have the full benefit of TennCare. And so there are folks that will have Medicare and TennCare, or Medicare and Medicaid. Our state level program for Medicaid is actually called TennCare. So those are the same thing in our state. So Medicare and Medicaid.
I've been confused on that a couple of times.
Right, and in our state, we call the state Medicaid program, we call it TennCare.
Okay, now, SSI.
Yes.
There's a guy, you know, and I have a different perspective of SSI. I think, in my book, that's a program to help you till you can move to somewhere else and not be on it for the rest of your life. And I know at home, we have, I know at least 4 or 5 cases that cause me all that. Why are you against SSI? Mm-hmm. I'm not against SSI, but SSI is money's coming out of a program that I paid my Social Security in for my Medicare, and not no Social Security, but for Medicare.
Right.
And so why and how can anyone get on SSI and stay there forever and ever and ever?
That's a little bit bigger question than I probably know the complete answer to, but I can tell you that I've worked with a lot of folks over the years that have they've suffered a debilitating injury of some sort. They're not able to earn. Okay, now that determination's made by people that know far more than I do, but I have seen cases where folks may not be able to earn enough money to compensate for what they were made before they were injured or before they became debilitated. Okay, SSI, as I understand it and as I've seen it work effectively, can help somebody like that to not starve to death. Okay, if something happened to me, let's say I lost both my legs and I wasn't able to go out and do the work that I'd done my whole life, I didn't have the means to go to college and retrain myself, SSI would be something that would be available to me theoretically that would help me kind of keep my head above water. Okay, now in a situation like that, I may not ever come off of it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But this one guy keeps calling me. He's been on it for 5 years, and he thinks I'm against him.
Well, I don't get that impression. I think a lot of times we get the wrong. You know, there are multiple different scenarios where someone would qualify for that. I had my first college roommate was on SSI, okay, because his father had passed away at a young age, and that money was given to the family, and he was entitled to that because his father had worked and paid into the system. And until he reached age 21, those payments came to him to help with, you know, family bills and things like that. And in his case, he was using it to help pay for college, which bettered him. And so I don't always know the situation that someone is in that gets them that, although I've never seen a situation where someone was getting SSI where I really would have wanted to go through what they had to go through to get it. You know, it's always been a hardship of some sort, you know, some sort of a blow, you know, either in a health situation or sometimes it's mental health situation, something that has impeded their ability to earn a living. And typically when someone becomes eligible for SSI, and this is not always the case, but typically when someone gets on disability and they start drawing SSI, they become eligible for Medicare 24 months into that disability. So once they're awarded disability, the waiting period is 24 months. Now they don't have to wait till they're 65 in most cases. Right. Okay, so and there's some fine lines, and I don't know all the ins and outs. That's a federal program, but I wouldn't say that there's a typical case of SSI. I just, everybody's situation has been a little bit different, and you know, I know that a lot of times folks don't really understand somebody else's situation, you know, very well, and sometimes it doesn't look like, in my opinion, someone deserves that. But if you go in and you talk with these folks, you realize that you wouldn't want to be in their shoes, and it's probably a good thing that they're able to get access to that. Otherwise, they'd have nowhere to go.
Now, I have one case that this guy kept getting upset at me over, because my way of thinking is what you said there. It's supposed to be a short-term program to take care of, but there's some cases that it would go on and on. But this guy calls and says, "Why are you against the SSI?" And I'm not against SSI. I'm against how it's used and how long it's used in some cases. And this one guy said, "Well, me and my wife both are alcoholics. We have to have that money to survive. We got 3 kids that we send to school, but we need that money because we're alcoholics." And that upset me, because I think the SSI is going, if it's because of the 3 kids, then it's going to feed those kids and send them to school, and I don't know about taking care of the man and the woman, because taking care of those needs is not a necessity for me.
I'm really glad that I don't have to make those eligibility determinations. You know, there's many cases that I just really, I feel very fortunate I don't have to make that decision.
Okay. Hey, I'll give us a call here, because I don't want to have to run the man off without him. I know he's interested.
Give me a call. He's going to run me out of here.
Yeah, I'm going to run you out.
He's going to run me out, send me back to Knoxville. I'm here. Any question at all, there are no wrong questions. There's no bad questions.
And I know that you guys have given these people so many answers, and a lot of them still calling you every day. And you know, the reason why I bring these guys here, they have sponsored me for quite a while now. Even that's how Riggs Drugs started advertising with me, because you guys is going down there and being down there to answer these kind of questions. You're on the air.
Hey,
Go ahead.
I got a question to ask.
Okay.
You had the insurance and Medicare. I was up there at the hospital for, I got a bill. Well, they paid me $5,000 some. Then, I was in 2013. Then, most of this year, I got a bill for $2,000 some.
And you just have the straight Medicare?
Oh, I had Medicare and I've got
Humana? Okay, is that for your prescription coverage, or does that cover your doctors and hospitals as well?
It's supposed to cover hospitals and doctors and all.
I would definitely call the customer service number on the back of your Humana card and make sure that your provider, the hospital or the doctors that you're seeing, are submitting the bills properly. That sounds to me like they're trying to bill your Medicare instead of your Humana, and your Humana customer service is going to be your best bet on that.
Well, Medicare pays 80%, don't they?
Well, it can vary a little bit. With your Humana, you're under that plan, and you should have smaller copays than that. But it sounds to me like your doctor or your hospital is just billing you Medicare, and they're not billing the Humana. I would check with my Humana customer service on that.
Okay, now, aren't you down at Riggs ever so often?
We're down there on Thursdays if you want to come by, and usually from 10 till 2 is about the time we're down there. Miranda's down there on Thursdays.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for the call.
Appreciate you calling.
You're on the air.
Yeah, I really ain't got a question, but I've been listening to you, and it's about the SSI and disability and stuff. I'm 42 years old, and I've worked all my life. I know I started way too young working. I got married at 15, started working at 14. I've worked all my life, and one day, it's been back about 4 years ago, I went on vacation, on Christmas vacation, and I had an accident and broke my back and had to have surgery on my feet and everything. But anyway, we got a lot of people out here, like that one guy said, the people has to go through all this trials and tribulations to try to get their money. It is very bad, but what really gets me is, like you said, RL, I got sympathy for people that's hooked on drugs and alcoholics and stuff like that, but I'm neither one of them, and I've worked all my life. I have a lawyer, and I've been fighting them for 2 years, and I can't get a dime. I'll just want what I've paid him, and I can't get nothing. I can't get nothing from them. They said I made too much money before. Now they're giving me a few food stamps, but it took me a year and a half to get them because in the past I had made too much money, and then here I am, 42 years old, and I'm crippled, and it looks like I'm going to have to go back to work. I don't know what a man's supposed to do.
Well, I tell you what, I can sympathize with you because I got a partner, and you've met him, Steve Hall.
Yeah.
Steve Hall's had 3 heart attacks. He's 62 years old.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get the SSI or Social Security or something, and he's not been able to do it. He's been trying for about a year, and the only other resource he has is to go get a lawyer and have to give up part of his pension. That's not right.
No, it's not right. I've lost about everything I've ever had trying to get this disability started. I've tried to go back to work here about 2 years ago, and I just wasn't able because I'm not educated that well. As you heard me tell you, I went to work very young, and all I know is hard